Hey there, fish nerds of YouTube and random bored people surfing the internet. My name's Jake from Raccoon Creek Aquatics, and today we'll be discussing the dry start method. People might ask, how do you prevent plants from floating when you first establish them in an aquarium? What's the difference between an immersed and a submerged plant? And finally, what is this dry start anyway? We're going to answer these questions and more coming up. The dry start method isn't exactly dry. You see, the point is to keep the aquarium humid and damp, but not filled with water. To do this, it requires plants to be grown immersed, which means above the water level, compared to submersed, which means below the water level. The main benefit to using the dry start method is it allows smaller carpeting plants that tend to float in the water before they get rooted to set their roots in the substrate before you fill it with water. It also provides more CO2 because CO2 is more abundant in the air than it is when it's underwater in the aquarium. The dry start method is really easy. All you need is an aquarium, a good nutrient-rich substrate, lighting capable of growing plants, a water bottle, and some plastic wrap. I'll go into the types of substrate and lighting that I recommend in different videos. Here's my 5-gallon nano aquarium. I'm currently growing Monte Carlo that I trimmed out of my bigger planted tank. I'm doing a dry start method with it before I flood it. This dry start has been going a little over a week now, and you can see there's a little bit of bright new growth in this tank, but nothing too crazy. I'll let this go for another 2 or 3 weeks before I flood it. I'd like to point out a couple of things before we go into my daily maintenance. I do have some plastic wrap on top. I mentioned that as a necessary piece of material. I use this to trap in the humidity because you want to keep a nice, moist, humid environment so your plants don't dry out. When I do my daily maintenance, I flip this up, and that's important because that allows some gas exchange. And then I take my water bottle, add a little bit of water to keep the moisture. And then I let it sit out for a little bit. And then when I'm done, I seal back up the aquarium to hold the humidity. Another thing I'd like to discuss about the dry start method is you can have a much longer photo period before you flood than you would when you have a normal aquarium. I typically keep this light on for 12 hours, and you don't have to worry about algae because there is no water in there. Once the aquarium is flooded, then I recommend reducing your photo period down to about 7 hours to prevent a huge algae problem. After you flood the aquarium, if you have a nutrient-rich substrate such as 80A aqua soil, it's actually recommended to do a water change every day for the first week and every other day for the second week. This will help avoid the buildup of ammonia and nutrients in the water column and help avoid algae. Now, one of the main drawbacks of doing the dry start method is it takes patience. Just like anything in the aquarium hobby, it takes patience. You wait several weeks doing a dry start before you even fill your aquarium. One last word of advice before using this method. Make sure you do your homework. Make sure the plant that you pick to use in this dry start method can actually be grown immersed. If you have any other questions for the dry start method, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and follow me on Instagram.